My name is Danielle Mercer. I'm 29 years old, and the night my family accused me of stealing $1 million, everything changed. It started at a family dinner. The room was warm with laughter, silverware clinking, glasses raised in celebration. Then my mother stood up, looked directly at me, and said words that froze the entire table. "The $1 million I gave you. What did you do with it?" The laughter vanished. Every eye turned toward me. I stared at her, stunned. "What do you mean?" I asked. My voice barely sounded like my own. Across the table, my brother Aaron suddenly shifted in his chair. His face went pale. He wouldn't look at me. My father stayed silent, jaw tight. My aunts and cousins whispered like they were watching a show unfold. I felt humiliated. Because there was one problem with her accusation. I had never received a single dollar. I tried to stay calm. "Mom, there must be a mistake," I said. But she only crossed her arms. "So it's already gone?" she replied. That's when I realized this wasn't confusion. It was planned. And before I could say another word, there was a loud knock at the door. 2 officers stepped inside. One of them asked, "Danielle Mercer?" I stood slowly. "We need to ask you questions regarding a financial fraud complaint involving $1 million. The room gasped. My mother acted shocked. My father said nothing. But Aaron? He looked like he might collapse. I took a breath and said the only thing I knew was true. "I never received that money. Check every account I own." The officer nodded and began writing notes. Then he looked at Aaron. "Sir, are you all right?" Aaron forced a laugh. Why wouldn't I be? But everyone noticed the sweat on his forehead, the shaking hands, the panic in his voice. I looked at my mother. "If you transferred money to me, show the proof." She hesitated. "It was handled by my advisor," she said quickly. "I don't keep the paperwork." Convenient, too convenient. And in that moment, everything clicked. The money wasn't missing. It had gone somewhere else. I turned to the officer. "If you want the truth, check my brother's accounts." The room exploded with whispers. Aaron slammed his hand on the table. "She's lying. She's jealous." But the officer remained calm. "Sir, we'll need your records as well." Aaron stood up so fast his chair crashed behind him. His phone buzzed loudly in his pocket. The officer noticed. "Please hand me the phone." Aaron refused. Then he tried to run. But before he reached the door, another message came through the officer's radio. The transfers had been traced. The money was connected to an account in Aaron's name. The entire room fell silent. Aaron froze. His phone slipped from his hand and hit the floor. The screen lit up with notifications. Luxury purchases, transfers, receipts, all under his name. The officer picked it up. "Sir, you are under investigation for fraud and theft." My mother sank into her chair. My father looked like the ground had disappeared beneath him. And for the first time in years, no one was looking at me like I was the problem. The next few weeks changed everything. The truth came out piece by piece. Forged signatures, hidden accounts, false claims made in my name. The same brother my family had defended for years had built his life on deception. Meanwhile, the people who ignored me suddenly wanted to talk. Relatives called to apologize. Old friends reached out. Even my parents came to my door. My mother's eyes were red from crying. "You could have told us," she whispered. I looked at her calmly. "You could have listened." She had no answer. A few days later, my father visited too. No excuses, just one sentence. "I was wrong." But some words come too late. Because apologies don't erase years of being blamed, overlooked, and treated like less. And then came the final court hearing. The judge reviewed the evidence, every false document, every stolen transfer, every lie. When the verdict was read, the room was silent. Aaron would face the consequences of his choices. And me, I didn't celebrate. I didn't cheer. I simply felt free. Weeks later, my parents returned one last time. They brought documents restoring what was rightfully mine. They waited for forgiveness. But I had learned something important. Closure doesn't always come through words. Sometimes it comes through peace. I closed the door gently. Then I walked through my home, finally feeling light. For years, they made me the embarrassment, the disappointment, the forgotten one. But in the end, the truth spoke louder than any accusation, and I walked away stronger than ever. Sometimes the people who doubt you the most are the reason you discover your own strength. If this story moved you, remember, protect your peace, trust the truth, and never let someone else define your worth.